flew through a lightning storm to get back here for the races in Maryland. Keith, thanks for joining us here today at the
Yeah.
races. But it wasn't certainly dull when I was gone last weekend.
No, it wasn't. We had a really Sunday, unfortunately, off the turf again, but a
Right.
big day for J.G. Torrealba with 3 wins, 2 of them stakes. One on Ronan Goddess, Malibu Beauty, the other one for Gary Cap. Give It a Whirl was our other stakes winner in the Bald Eagle Derby. I want to thank Dave Rodman for coming along and helping out on the morning show. Mackenzie Pfeiffer doing an excellent job filling in for you in the afternoon. But good to have you back. And, hope everybody made it through Tropical Storm Debbie okay, unscathed. I know in my neck of the woods we had like 4 or 5 inches of rain. And we were just in that little pocket. It just kind of kept hitting us. But hopefully everybody's all right. And hopefully I remember how to handicap. We got back on it, luckily, through simulcasting on the downtime. Had a chance to play some races. I stopped up at Greenmount Station, my little spot. And, my home away from home, the Greenmount Station. Make it up there if you can. But there's our conditions, and I tell you what, the storm is through. We've got excellent weather ahead here in Laurel.
No, absolutely. Now that the rain is truly gone for the week, we have a nice in the mid 80s that we've got going on. We have some cloudy skies around us, Keith. Not too much of a breeze, which I think is going to be a little interesting, but I think this track is fast, and of course off the turf still keeps some interesting races here, especially being off the turf. In fact, there was a race or two where I thought was actually even harder to handicap once we got off of the turf. So yes,
you get that, and I had that issue last Sunday with those stakes races. It was like throwing us a real curveball, a little bit more consistent form on the turf. You flip it over to the dirt, and you're like, okay, head scratcher, where do we go? But I see that here. This is a card, Callie, I think, when you're looking at it. I don't have any grandiose kind of prices. I've got a couple that might work in that maybe 5 to 8 to 1 range. But we're going to try to kind of roll some things together to get you some value that way. But race 1 kicks everything off. Early pick 5, 12% takeout. Don't miss out on the early pick 5. Unfortunately, off the turf, 1 mile on the main. Scratch the 4, 5, and 7.
And this claiming 45, which have never won 2. And as you mentioned, scratch the 4, 5, 7, and 8. Leaves us with a field.
Oh, yeah, they ain't my bad.
Yeah, it's all good. You go with the number 6 on top. Don't Tell Kelly here for Ned Aller, Jamie Rodriguez. Keeping just a little bit of oopsies last time out.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a couple horses here that I think are going to take plenty of play. Obviously, the one going to be your favorite in here for Shug McGahee, first-time tag, and all that good stuff. They both, my top 2 selections, the 6 and the 1. They've had some issues coming out of the gate. A little bit slow. Maybe this one going to be hopefully loaded last. Don't Tell Kelly can come away cleanly. It was caught wide, 7 wide in that allowance at Delaware behind Malibu Beauty, who came back to win the Caesars Wish. Lasix going on for a barn that's rolling right along here in Maryland and pretty much all parts. Ned Aller doing a great job, the veteran trainer. I like this horse to get early position. Feeling so lucky, may go ahead and try to go, but I think the speed of the speed will come from the 2, Sandra D. Make the rider Victor Carrasco Rodriguez opts for Don't Tell Kelly. I think this one kind of maybe get the jump on Very Practical, but Very Practical's been in some races kind of controlled by speed. The class drop might be able to get it done here. The blinkers coming off. A kind of a grind, 3 races back against a better field in New York. But last 3 years, for trying to beat this 1 to 5 early, Shug. And I love Shug, getting great in Forest Boys. I mean, 2 of my favorites. 3 for 21, first-time tag. 0 for 6 on the dirt.
Okay.
We'll see how it plays out, but I'll take a shot here with Don't Tell Kelly to prompt the pace and hopefully go on with it and fend off Very Practical late.
This was a race an off-the-turf race where I kind of got mind-boggled. I like your 6 on top. I originally had that in my exacta. Ned Aller doing well from Delaware to Laurel.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead to race number 2. Keith, let's take a look at your early pick 4 ticket. Let's see what kind of price you got for us here today.
Cheapy, $10.
Love it.
1-5 gets you started. A little Jack Harmon, Margie's Fun Son. Hit the road, Jack. And the dance could be used in there. I mean, it's not going to cost you too much extra to throw that one in for the ticket. Race 3 is single off the turf. These are 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Maiden special weight 5.5. I'm going to single the 3. Mo Jackson, not Bo Jackson. Mo Jackson here for Feliciano. Race 4, 2 deep with the 4 and the 6 silver trinket. Interesting here. We'll talk about that one for BTR. Canadian Bear as well. Race 5, just hit them all. Kind of a little bit of a wacky race. Top selection is going to be Bermuda Run for Donnie Barr, but we'll talk about that one a little bit as well a little bit later. Let's concentrate on race 2, though, the start of this early pick 4.
In this claiming 20,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, going a mile and 16th on the turf and dirt. No scratches here, Keith. You have the number 5 on top. Hit the road, Jack, here for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. Thais Pustina coming off second off of the layoff here. Not too shabby in that allowance.
Yeah, not too shabby. A little bit of freshing. Bandcamp has run some big, gaudy numbers.
Yeah.
I think Hit the Road, Jack, was claimed for 20. Run a race, comes back, returns with Lasix. Really quick internals. This is a speed. I mean, this is a race where there's no real true speed. I think this one gets to the front. Right back for 20 doesn't scare me here. I think Thais Pustina can nurse this runner around, shown the ability to take a little bit of heat going longer, 2 turns. Yeah, Margie's fun, son. Let's go to the video. This horse is going to be your favorite, 7-5 on the morning line. Second time here for Ness off the claim. Got a good trip, off a contested pace last time out. Kind of drops out of it. Maybe he wasn't real comfortable down inside, but man, Rodriguez got the riding mid-turn here at the 3/8. Initially, wasn't really picking it up at all as Bill of Rights separates and widens a touch into the lane. Key is when he gets to the outside about 4 or 5 wide, Rouse with the right-handed stick, I believe, and just responded to that. And you're going to see him roll into the picture outside of rivals and hail them and go away by 4 and some change. He holds the level at 20. Interesting move for a horse that, if I'm looking correctly, right, still has an A other than condition, all of that stuff. Interesting. Ness, last 3 years on the dirt. Second off of a claim following a win. He's 30%, 13 of 44. But in Maryland, 2 for 11. There's another little slight knock. Right. If you're looking for more value, if you're reaching a little bit, that's my knock against him. But I got to try a shot with the 5. Hit the road, Jack, 8-1 morning line. Get to the front and keep on going.
Why not? 3 and the 7 underneath.
Yep.
You mentioned in the dance. That one's in the barn. Jerry Robb with the weight off with Christian Maldonado. And on the outside, Brooklyn guy, Diane Xavier Perez.
Yeah, Brooklyn guy works. Second off of a break. I think can grind it out. In the dance, interesting. The only 3-time winner in this field gets it because he's a 3-year-old. That's why he's in this race. Wanted no parts of the turf last time. Tight start, lost action, all discombobulated. Coming back to the surface in which he prefers. Yes, a user gets a good trip inside out, I believe, today. Omar coming. Sanchez tried this the other day, almost got it done. Sustenance to the front. Omar coming, making that run from the back. He's got Hit the Road, Jack, in here as your speed. Designated hitters with another runner, Omar coming, who finished up well. Back kind of quick, but really kind of got going very well late when altered inside. 5-1-3-7 in race 2.
Race number 3 is a maiden special weight off the turf, going 5.5 on the dirt here now for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Scratches in the 1, 2, 4, and 5. You and I both end up on the number 3. Mo Jackson, Benny Feliciano Jr., Jamie Rodriguez. Nice works leading up into this first effort.
Yeah, and you're wondering, you're looking at the breeding, and I look bottom side, everything. Davron, 7 for 18 on the turf, graded stakes winner. Family of strong turf, just slews of turf, but was entered main track only. That tells me I'm thinking, Benny, this guy really likes the main track. I mean, sharp work coming into this.
Or Benny knew the weather that was coming up.
Like, he could, but
he worked well.
You could have just let him in there and stayed in, right? So it didn't really matter. So specifically for this, last 2 years, Feliciano, though, he's got a couple wins with the first-time starters on the main track. That ROI is what catches your eye. 656, shorter field. Man, connections, if he's good at all, they got to like this setup here for this one's debut.
Talking about Elon, you go from the inside to the outside for Fenica Bentley, Johan Rosado. We haven't seen this one on the dirt for a while, but I think we're dealing with a new gelding here today.
Yeah, he's running a little bit better, without a doubt. Only try on the dirt at Delaware, not so good. But you look at the family. Flash Phelps, he's a fool to Flash Phelps, who did really good on the turf. Yeah. There's also a half to Action Andy, who won the DeFrancis with a 102 buyer. So Elon might get some setup here. Big Amadeus to the front to show some speed. But be interesting to see kind of how the action that Mo Jackson takes. You got J-Rod. They went out and kind of got him. So could be some tells there with that one.
Race potentially running through the number 3, 8, 6, 7. We both wrap it up there in race number 3. Race at number 4 starts that Rainbow Pick 6. Let's go ahead and take a look at. I couldn't get down to a $10 ticket because, like you said, some of these races I was a little bit jostled up.
Yeah.
First leg, I go these first couple of races. You go wide in race 5. I have to slim it down to 2 because I find my single a little bit later. I know you found your single on your card in race number 3. I go to race 7 on finding my single in the number 5 Divine Grace for Jamie Rodriguez. I saw that and I was like, oop, there's my savior for that ticket. Race number 6, that Jackpot Super High 5. You have a value play in there, and I don't have that value play in my picks, but again, that was a tricky card. That's a proper Jackpot Super High 5 race. So I include my picks. I include all of my picks in there, but we'll get to yours in a moment when we get to race number 6. But pretty straightforward outside of that $28.80 for that ticket. That does begin in race number 4. In this maiden claiming 45, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 2-year-old fillies. You and I both go with the number 4 Silver Trinket.
Yeah.
Brittany Russell, Eric Camacho, even money on the morning line.
Yeah. By gift box, only 1 for 13 with the first-time starters. $100,000 purchase out of a mare who was 2 for 25. It's a first foal. I'm assuming this is a really good-looking filly. I looked at the page and everything. I'm like, man, it's a lot of money. So we'll get your take on this one when she gets to the paddock,
Yes.
for sure. So here's one of your angles. Brittany Russell, though, last 3 years on the dirt, starting these horses at 7/8 of a mile at Laurel. 5 for 14, 36%, 9 for 14 in the money with an ROI of 253. And there's something in that jockey column that kind of stands out as well.
Yeah,
Eric Macho
absolutely.
Camacho, right?
Yes.
So you got that. Last time we saw these two team up was with Post Time.
Right.
I think his first 3 wins were with Eric Camacho. So, again, maybe some tells here. I don't know. I don't know if you've got any word on how she's worked out, but I'll take a shot here. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a short price.
And let's go ahead to the number 6 in Canadian Bear for Lacey Gaudette, Johan Rosado. Little bit of a tough go in that first time effort last time out. Let's take a look at that specifically coming out of the gate there in that first effort at Laurel.
Yeah, you see this bump at the break, and then after a little bit of a recovery, she's going to get herself in some tight quarters. After about furlong and a half, you're going to see her circle here, just get kind of ease back out of it. Just really wasn't comfortable in this 8-horse field. But I tell you what, I thought the effort from mid-turn upper stretch, she works outward, continues very willingly to the wire, did Canadian Bear. So with that effort under her belt, we're going to get Rosado today. Second out, okay, smaller sample works for this barn, and this is a barn that's, obviously they know, they're a little chilly. They're going to pick things up, and they're going to start running and winning races. So Canadian Bear, I think, will definitely benefit. Beautiful Bloom for Anthony Pecoraro, Charlie Blanford, Teresa Halp. 2 decent tries against some gate antics, a little off slow, a little reluctant loading in these first 2 tries. But stretching out a little bit, I think it's going to work. This horse is kin to best sugar daddy ever, right? Mama's Leno horses that can handle extended ground.
Right.
And I went back and watched her race a little closely. Looks like she lost her footing a little bit, upper stretch. Track was a wet, fast track. She recovered off of that, altered, and kept on willingly. I think this with J-Rod, Beautiful Blown, is going to work here in race 4. First for Damon, certainly could show a little speed. Danny's Rhythm, I think, can improve. No run whatsoever after being bumped at the break for Robbie, but his horses have been running well of late. Took play in that debut in a 9-horse field, was bet down to 4-1. It's considerable action. A half to Matitude, who's a pretty good horse.
And 4-6-3-1 is the way Keith Fustel goes in race number 4. Race number 5 is a claiming 30,000, going a mile on the dirt. Starts the late pick 5 as well. Keith, you go with the not the rail horse, Bermuda Run. First time against winners here in an off-the-turf event last time out in that win for Donnie Barr and Angel Cruz.
You saw in the early pick 4, we went all. Contempt really disappointed me last time off the break for Motion. First time tag. That hasn't been the greatest. 1 for 15 the last few years on the dirt. So looking around, General's Duty might be a little bit better on a wet track. We've got a fast track today, Wicked Secret. 1 for 15. Cassius, 1 for 11, doing well on the turf. So it leads me Bermuda Run. The numbers kind of going the right direction. Turf to the dirt last time, which is an off the turf race. But what I liked, big jump, 66 buyer, beat Original Idea, who had run a 74 buyer prior, and then also beat Brittany Russell horse. So beat a McGahee horse with a good fig, a Russell horse, jump up. I know you look at the final time, 43-1. That track was slow that day. And I look back and comparing some times, it actually was better than like 10 or 15,000 3-in-life boys. Just seems like the improving sort, with the other ones with some sketchy form.
Right.
I default to the 5 Bermuda Run.
And you mentioned the number 1, General's Duty, the 2 and the 3 underneath, Wicked Secret and Contempt, for respectively Hugh McMahon and Graham Motion.
Yeah, maybe Contempt after the stumble and it was just uncomfortable between horses. Just didn't like it at all last time. Giving him a second time. Second off the break. This kind of break works for Motion. But General's Duty, the 2-back trial on that sloppy seal track here at Laurel was good. Slender Beauty came back 81 next time out with a win. And I think Buck and Dreamer, just won the other day. So running against the right kind, Jane Sabelli trying to pick things up here in Maryland. If I said who's the horse to beat, I guess I would say General's Duty.
Right.
But for short price,
this is tricky.
I'll take a little better value, I think, with this 5 Bermuda Run.
5, 1, 2, 3 for Keith Fustel in race number 5. We will be right back after this commercial break to discuss the rest of Saturday's card. Welcome back to the action here on Saturday's card at Maryland and Laurel Park. Let's talk about this race number 6, this Jackpot Super High 5, and the start of the late pick 4 in this claiming 30,000 for the girls, which have never won 3.
Okay.
Going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Scratching the 2, Maddie 10. You go with Spencerian here for Hugh McMahon. Victor Carrasco at 8-1.
Yeah, trying to find a little nugget here. Third time blinkers off of break. Ran very well second off the claim from that 16-2 in life. You see who she beat. Wide move, Speedy Day overcame that and kicked away. Ginger Girls, now a 6-time winner, has increased those buyer figures on her page, running against better. A little hiccup next time out, and now the freshening. McMahon's been okay with these horses coming off a little bit of a break. This is a 288-day break. I'm not terribly concerned. I like the 2 5/8 workouts into this one. Some speed inside Puddin' Pie, just outside of her. I think Little Josie Wills will be forward, maybe even Bunny Hop. I think Spencerian can sit a good trip just off the pace.
The number 1 on the inside, you mentioned Puddin' Pie, Kieran McGee, Tori Alba, coming off of first off of the claim with Kieran McGee, and now this one is coming in for win 3 in a row. Let's take a look at that last win.
Puddin' Pie in very good form off the claim here, off of Jerry Robb. Very, very good trainer, but Puddin' Pie's had a really good trip. Beautiful Carla was on the lead, kind of controlling things, and she did that inside-out trip and sustained under that pressure that she was put to, leaving the 5/16 pole. I like that. Beautiful Carla did not give up without a fight. But now you've got a 4-time winner taking advantage of this condition. And again, she doesn't need the lead. If Little Josie Wales wants to kind of go ahead and go, or possibly a horse like Bunny Hop, she's shown the capability. Tori Alba, you've got a hot rider, riding very well. Good race, smart race, Tori Alba. Puddin' Pie. Yeah, your horse to beat. I think she's going to be the fave here in race 6.
4156 for Keith Fustel there in race number 6. Let's go ahead to race number 7 and off the turf event here in the starter optional 20,000. Going a mile and an eighth on the dirt still for the girls 3 and up. Scratches in the 1, 3, 4, and 7.
Yeah.
Keith, you and I go with Divine Grace. Of course, I mentioned Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez. Got to trust it.
Yeah, Joy Del Sur just coming back so quick, but Karen's been okay with this move, and Joy Del Sur looks like this speed, shorter field. Will she try to separate, or will she just try to nurse? She nurses, and Divine Grace, I think, has enough speed to stay close enough and kind of wear her down. Going to try to make it 2 in a row for Ness. First try here at Laurel, coming off of that heavier surface at Delaware. Really might put a little pep in her step. I think she's live here at a mile and an eighth. We're not going to get a whole lot of value in here. She's a rolling stone. Yeah, interesting move. First time in for this barn. A drop in class. Looks kind of, I don't say super obvious. You know, you look at her numbers comparatively, they look kind of gaudy
Yeah.
compared to this field. I just don't trust her. She can certainly grind it out at a mile and an eighth here.
Why
I
not?
can't
Yeah,
use her
sure.
on top at that price.
Yeah.
What
Well,
she's going to be. Yeah, no, don't even look at the 12 to 1. She's going to be probably even 6 to 5, I would
right.
say, in this race. Yeah.
5286 for Keith. You still there in race number 7. Race number 8 is on the dirt as intended in this restricted allowance for the 3-year-olds and up, going a mile and 16th on the dirt. Scratch in the 6. Good afternoon, Oscar. You and I land on the number 5, Benny Feliciano Jr., Blue Kingdom, Gina Vello. Love what we're going to see out of this one today.
Benny might be set up for a really good day at Laurel Park.
Yes.
That'd be nice to see. Yeah, Blue Kingdom. A lightly raced, 7 starts, third time blinkers, just tossed the start at NASCAR. Had all kinds of trouble in that opening furlong there. But I thought last race was really, really good. Should have brought this back in a video. Got control early, kind of took a little pressure, kind of, cat and mouse with the horse. Separated around the turn,
Yeah.
good internals there around the turn. Just to be run down, 16th pole, was bothered steady, but kept on with effort. Major if, because Quinn Cannon's got a little bit of speed. That was a sneaky good race 3 races back. I give it a left lead ridden out. Maybe not against the strongest of field, but flash that speed against a horse like Freeze the Fire. I think Blue Kingdom, if he can get away with a somewhat relaxed opening 3/8 of a mile, he'll finish up here and might get you a little bit of a price, because I think Giordani, this 2 for Ness, is going to be hammered down at the windows. Has had a lot of tries at this state bred first level condition, hasn't gotten it done yet. You got to go back almost a year till the last time this horse won, but he just might get the setup if this 4 and 5 can, converge early and get into that battle. But again, short price, I'll use that one underneath. Capcom, yes, that's Troy Singh, really good. Got the better of Blue Kingdom late, but sat the right trip behind him. Going to need that inside post to help him out there today. And the three's interesting.
Yes.
Salvaggio's horse stretching out. Beat a horse in Guardian Prince, who I did like a month or 2 back at Laurel, got off bad. I think that was another Penn shipper that ran very well in debut. This guy was 4 wide every step. His build, everything when I looked at the video, looked like a type of horse that just wants to stretch out, get a little bit more ground. He could really relax and carry from the top of the lane with Salgado Jockey coming in. So, yeah, 5-2-3-1 in the 8th. Little shot here, Blue Kingdom. Get up and go early with Alvello.
There we go. Race number 9, our finale of the day here on Saturday, is a claiming 7,500, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the girls 3 and up. Scratch in the 7. Prepare for takeoff. You go with the number 2 on top in Coal Mine. Troy Singh, Sly Pustina. Let's take a look at that effort. First time in the barn for Troy last time out.
This barn is firing on all cylinders right now. Callie had a win the other day. And I think right back, Coal Mine. Maybe the number isn't, super strong, but you got to realize, got away at almost 6 to 1. He was familiar with this filly back in the Claudio Gonzalez barn, obviously, Euro stable and all that whole group. Yeah, look at this trip. Really good ride. My sister Nancy kind of had everything her own way up front, picked it up through that 3rd quarter, but watch this, really comfortable. Not really ask at all. I give a ridden out comment. Mile drive, that's right. I gave on Coal Mine here. I think turning back a furlong with maybe a little bit more speed, Planet Frolic possibly going along with Pattern Bet. I think she sits another trip. I think she's going to bring the best finish of these. Maybe she doesn't get up, but I think she'll be going best at the wire.
You also go with the number 4 underneath. I wanted to mention this one. Bad Temper, Aldogado, and Aldogado here. Coming back to this distance. I like the 7 furlongs for this one,
again,
to be honest.
Yeah, and again, she was hampered. Things were slow up front. She was under, constant urging, pretty much, and just kind of slowly grounded out the last 8. I think turning back that 63 number 2 races back was good. It looks like, too, when they ride her, she really isn't comfortable. She doesn't want the crop. She likes to get that steady hand ride, and it works for her. Pattern Bet coming in for Cousin Joan. Really good trip last time out. The Archie bred was able to sit off the dual work through inside. A little different. We talked about it, her and I, this morning. It's a little different 7/8 at Charlestown. Bigger circumference here at Laurel. But I think she can go ahead and prompt just outside of Planet Frolic, who's going to be bet down here for Farrier. I just can't use her at that short price, yes. But, I'll use her in exactas, but looking for a little bit more value. here with Coal Mine Pattern Bet, though. I think she'll hound that one. Will she continue on the final 3/16 is the biggest question for her. 2-4-6-1 in the nightcap.
Go on, Joan. We'll find out there. Keith, let's
Joan.
talk about your value plays. You have 2 8-1 value plays for us. Starting in race number 2 on the number 5, Hit the Road Jack for Rudy Sanchez Solomon and Thais Pustina.
I just think we need a good break. We break cleanly. We can get to the front. Nurse Around has shown the ability to take a little bit of pressure, but those internals won't be as demanding as they were last time in that race against Bandcamp.
You get gutsy with your second value play. In race number 6, a proper jackpot super high 5 in the number 4, Spencerian. First off the layout for Hugh McMahon with Victor Carrasco on top.
But key horses, I think she's run against better, and she beat Ginger Girl clearly. Ginger Girl has gone up the ladder. See if this break did her some good. I know it's 288 days off, but this trainer's been okay. A couple 5 furlong works to tighten things up, get that stamina build up. I think she'll be spying the speed mid-turn.
Couple key things about some Maryland horses, Maryland breds in particular, and concerns to Saratoga. We also just wanted to bring up that latest, that Fasig-Tipton sale, of course, at Saratoga. But 2 homebreds from some Maryland bred farms went through the sales ring first night of the 103rd showing of the Saratoga sale. As we know, David Wade Northview Stallion Station, they've been trying to create a presence there, and they've been doing just that. Sold a 400,000 Gunrunner colt by David Wade for Robert LaPenta, Eclipse, and Bridalwood. Also, when going, was a $500,000 with Northview Stallion Station as well. Daughter of Streets with as I'm reading this, a bay colt. First out of a stakes-winning graded stakes place Nasty, a Daughter of Street Scent. So a couple of horses, they bring in the big bucks.
There you go. Maryland Breds were making some impact, no doubt.
We discussed Fulminio, who won here. So he was slated to run in the Secretariat at Colonial, and he's been training at Colonial, but they're doing a little bit of a swerve. They're going to be running him in the Grade 1 Saratoga Derby Invitational, just due to the fact that I think Cherie DeVoe's got a nice horse going in the Secretariat, and I think as well there's a Tricari, a Grade 1 winner trained by Graham Motion. Those he's like, I don't feel like running for third. The owners Starlight want to run at Saratoga, so why not?
Okay.
So there we go.
Well, we've seen he's been a different horse with the blinkers on. He's been good, always good, but now he's stepped it up a notch. He's following through in his races.
Thank you so much for joining us on the morning show, Keith. We will go to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches here for Saturday's card.
All right, good luck.